Well, hello, welcome again to our reading of the Greek New Testament. We're reading Luke's Gospel, chapter 11, and the last section of this starts at verse 33. This particular pericope is also in parts of Matthew. So oudes luknon hapsas es kruptein tithesi, and then in brackets oudi hupatomodion, ala epitain luknian, hina hoi es poluomenoi tophos bleposin. So no one, having lit, this is from hapto, aorist participle, having lit a light or a lamp, places, understand it, es kruptein, well, literally into a hidden place, so perhaps into a cellar, might be the intention here. Now we get in square brackets, nor under a modion, which is a measuring cup, sometimes translated as a bushel or something. It's a measuring cup. This phrase may have been interpolated here from Matthew's Gospel, where it appears in the same context. Allah, but on the lampstand. So we get luknos is the lamp, and look near is the lampstand. Hina, in order that those entering in might see the light. Holuknos tu somatos esti ho-ophthalmossu. The light of your body is your eye. Hotan ho-ophthalmossu haplus a. Kai holon tosomam su photenon estin. So whenever your eye, this is a subjunctive here, present subjunctive from the verb to be, might be haplus. It's a word that means whole or entire. So it's here used in the sense of functioning, working. So when you're almost well or healthy. So, but it's literally a word meaning whole, and your whole body is, photenon is lit. Ep-an, we've seen that before from epe plus an, but whenever it might become poneros. Now poneros means bad or wicked. Here in this context it's going to mean unwell, in a bad state perhaps. So, or perhaps we might capture this bad to be in a bad way. So whenever it is in a bad way, your body is skotenon. Now that's the opposite of photenon, which means lit up. Skotenon means in darkness. Scope, this is an imperative here from scopio. So it's scop e, and the e combines to form a, and the accent of course goes back here. So therefore, look, lest the light which is in you is skotos, is darkness. Eun tosomasu holon photenon. If therefore your whole body is lit up, me ekon meros tis skotenon, not having any portion which is dark, estai photenon holon hos hotan holuknos te astrape photisde se. So not having any part that is dark, it will be, so you have to understand body here, your body will be completely lit up as whenever the light shines or lightens you. Te astrape. Well, astrape means lightning, but here it's got the sense of brightness, so with its brightness. So whenever the light, the luknos, the lamp, gives you light with its brightness. The next little pericope is in Matthew, Mark, and also there's something similar later in Luke. This is a denunciation of the Pharisees and lawyers. En deto lelesai erota auton Pharisaios hopos aristese par auto. And while he was speaking, a Pharisee asked him, Hoppo's here, asked him that. It's really in order that, but it's just, we translate it as that. Now, aristio, it refers to having breakfast. It's literally the best meal of the day, the Greeks must have thought. So, in fact, it's any meal at all, really, other than dinner. So that he might perhaps dine with him or have breakfast with him, or perhaps even lunch. But it's to have a meal other than the main meal of the evening meal. In earlier Greek, it was generally used for breakfast, and I'm not quite sure exactly what that would mean at this point of time. And having come in, anapesen from anapipto, he reclined. Hote Pharisaios idon ethaumasin hoti u proton e baptiste pro tu aristu. And the Pharisee, having seen, he was amazed that he was not washed, so it's passive here, he did not wash, firstly, before the breakfast, the aristos, before the breakfast. It's a noun from that verb that we just saw. Apen de hokurios prosauton, and the Lord said to him, Nun humas hoi Pharisaioi, to exothen tu poteru, to poteru kai tu pinakos katharizdete, tode esothen humon geme harpages kai ponerias. Pretty strong words to say to someone who's just invited you for a meal. You Pharisees, now our main verb is down here, you cleanse, you make clean the outside of the cup and of the pinakos. This is from pinax. Here has the meaning of a plate. It has other meanings in classical Greek, but here it's just a plate, I think. So you cleanse the outside of the cup and the plate, hode esothen, but the inside of you, geme, is full of harpage. Now harpage, probably here robbery or plunder. Perhaps here it's greed. It comes from harpazdo, to snatch. So it may refer here to greed. The Pharisees were not known for robbery and plunder, but perhaps greed. The inside of you is full of greed and ponerias, wickedness. Aphrones, you foolish ones. It's alpha privative plus this phrane having no mind, so you foolish ones. Uk ho poiesas to exothen, kai to esothen epoiesen. Did not the one... well, we have to understand making clean, I think, here. So it's a question. So surely the one having made the outside, understand, clean, also makes, understand, clean, the inside. So surely the one who makes the outside clean makes also the inside clean. But we have to understand the clean from the verb up here. 41, the meaning here is disputed, and the Greek is rather obscure, and I'll just do it literally here, perhaps try and make sense of it then. Plain, but ta enonta, it's an accusative of respect here, but in respect of what is inside you, give alms, so give money to the poor, and behold, all things, neuter plural singular verb, are clean for you. It's not clear what this, exactly what all this means. It's something like it's kindness and not washings and lustrations that produce cleanness. So again, literally, but in respect of what is inside, give alms, and behold, all those things, that must agree with the top enonta, all those things are clean for you. So a slightly obscure verse there. You can have a look at the commentaries on this one. Ala uai, but woe humin to you, Pharisees, hoti apo decatute to hedu osmon kai to paganon kai pan lakanan kai par urkes their tame chrisin kai ten agapan to you. Now this verb here it's to take away 10. So i.e. it's to tithe. The verb is apodekatoo. So it's to take a tenth of, so hence to tithe. And this is a lovely word here. It's from hedos, meaning sweet, and osmorut, the osmos is smelling. So the sweet smelling herb, generally taken to refer to mint. So you tithe the mint, kaitopaganon, and the rue, and every vegetable, lakanon. And parokestai, you neglect, literally you place beside you, and hence you neglect the judgment and love of God. Tauta de ede poiesai kakena me paraenai. It is necessary to do these things. So now we get a balance here between tauta and this is kai ekena. Tauta this and ekena that. So it's necessary for you to do this thing and not. Now the paraenai is actually from hiami here. It's to leave undone. There are variant readings here as well. It's not the ami here, it's from hiami, I think to put aside, to leave undone the other things. So it's necessary for you to do those things, that is to do tithing and so on, and not to neglect the other things, that is showing kindness and so on. Woe to you, Pharisees, hoti agapate ten protocathedrian entai synagogues, for you love the, now look at the roots of this, we get protos first and cathedra seat. Get our word cathedral here from this. This is where the bishop sits. So the first seat in the synagogue. So in the synagogues, you love having the first seat, and the greetings in the marketplaces. So and people greeting you in the marketplace. Oye humin, woe to you, hotiesti hos tomenemea ta adela. Kai hoianthropoi, in brackets hoi, peripatun tesepana uk oidesin. Woe to you, because you are like tombs which are unseen. That is, they're burials that have been covered over, and the men, those walking around above, do not know. So he's comparing them with tombs that have been covered over and no one realises they're walking on the top of tombs. Fairly strong language to the Pharisee that's invited in for breakfast. Apokrithes detiston nomikon legeato, and a certain one of the teachers of the law, having answered, says to him, we get a fairly rare historic present. You do get these in Luke, but nowhere near as commonly as in Mark, of course. Didaskali, O teacher, tauta legon, having saying these things, also you insult us. So he's insulted the Pharisees, and now one of the lawyers says, well, by insulting them, you've also insulted us. Hode apen, and he said, kai humin tois nomikois uai, hoti fortisdati tus anthropus fortia, dus bastakta, kai autoi heni ton dactulon humon, u pros psauete tois theos. And he said, woe to you, teachers of the law, because this is from fortisdo. We get forti out the noun down here. This is the plural here, burden. So fortion is a burden, fortiat burdens. This is the verb. You load up, you burden men with burdens which are dus bastak takta. The dus is with difficulty. The bastak is from bastazdo, to carry. And the zeta, or whatever the root is, whether it's a delta, has turned into a kappa before the tor here. It's turned into an adjective, which with burdens that are difficult to carry, difficult to bear. Kai autoi, heni ton dactylon, and they, with one of your, sorry, you yourselves, it's going with the verb here, prospsao here means, well, it normally means to touch. It's not clear exactly what the meaning is here. You need to consult the commentaries here. It's probably in the sense of you don't touch, in the sense of assist them to carry it. And you yourselves, with one of your fingers, you do not touch, i.e. lift up, the fortios. This is the neuter. This is the dative plural from the neuter noun here. The burdens, and it's dative after the pros. So you don't lay a finger on these burdens, obviously in the sense of assisting people to carry them. Uai humin, woe to you, hoti oikodometa tom nemea ton propheton, because you are building the mnemea, the tombs of the prophets. Hoidepaterus humon apectanen autus, but your fathers killed them. So the sense is here, your fathers murdered them, and you're building them tombs. Ara martires esti kai sun eudocete tois ergois ton pateron humon. And surely, or accordingly perhaps, you are witnesses, and you have approved sun eudocio. Eudocio is to do something with well. So you have approved, and the sun with them, you have approved of the works of your fathers, so you have agreed with them. You have been complicit with the works of your fathers, because they themselves, and we get a man and a de, they, on the one hand, killed them, but you, oikodometa, you build. We have to understand mnemea from up here. You build their tombs. So he's just repeating what he'd said before in a bit more detail. Okay, so at verse 49 we continue. Dear tutor, on account of this, kai he sophia tu theo apen, the wisdom of God said, apostello eis autus prophetas kai apostolos, I send to them prophets and apostles, kai ex auton, and we have to understand tines, some of them, they apoktenusin, this is a future here. They will kill and they will persecute. Dioko means to pursue, but it's also mean, well, when you pursue someone, you can persecute them, and that's often the meaning of dioko in later Greek. And it is a future here. You can see from the accent and the shortening of the vowel here, it's apokteno, and we're getting apokten etsusi. Sigma drops out and you get a contraction, so you can see this is future here. So some of them they will kill and they will persecute. Hina, in order that exetethe, the verb isn't used, so it's used almost nowhere outside of the New Testament, and here it normally means to seek after. Here the meaning's a little bit different. It means to require. So you seek after the blood. So you, in order that you might go for, almost in English, the blood of all the prophets. The blood, we get a participle here. This is a perfect passive participle from keo, to pour, and it's ekkeo, to pour out. So the blood which is poured out, which has been poured out, perfect passive participle from ekkeo, and we get a vowel change. We get an upsilon comes in, reduplication here. So in order that the blood of all the prophets, now this actually is a subjunctive passive here, isn't it? So yeah, sorry. So I think that's he might require. So this must be referring to God, I think, in order that he might require or demand back the blood of all the prophets which had been poured out apokataboles from the foundation cosmo of the world, from this generation. So slightly difficult with the Greek there. So this exatio is a aorist passive subjunctive here. God must be the subject of it. So he might demand back the blood of all the prophets which had been poured out from the foundation of the world from this generation. So from this generation is coming after the verb. So he might demand back from this generation the blood of all the prophets which had been poured out from the foundation of the world. From the blood of, it's Habel here, but of course Abel, until the blood of Zechariah, to Apolomenu, the one who died or perished, Metaxu, between the Thusiasteriu, the temple, and the Oiku. Matthew at this point actually has Na'u, so that the altar and the temple. Luke, for some reason, has Oiku and the house. Nai lego humin, yes, I say to you, exate thesatai, and that's again from this verb here, exatio, in the sense of demand back. It will be demanded back from this generation. Uai humin tois nomikois, woe to you, the teachers of the law. Hoti erati tan kleedates gnosios, because you, now this is from iro, to lift, but it's often used in the sense of take away. So you've taken away, this is from kleis, this is third declension noun. It's connected with kleio, to shut, and this is kleis, kleidos, third declension, it means the key. So because you have taken away the key of gnosis, of knowledge, and you yourselves, uk es althete, you do not enter it, kaitus es komenus kolusity, and you have hindered the ones entering in. So you yourselves don't enter in, have not entered in, and you have hindered, koluo, those who are entering in. Kakathen for kai ekathen, ex elthontos autu, ex antot grammates, kai hoi pharisaioi, denos enekain, kai apostomatis denauton peri pli onon. And from that point, when he had gone out, the scribes and the Pharisees, axantot, they began, from archimai. Now, enekain denos is literally to press terribly upon him or vehemently upon him. The meaning here is not quite certain. Again, you'll need to see the commentaries on this. It could mean to keep a close watch on, or it could mean, which I think is more likely, to fiercely oppose him. and that may be the meaning here, but it's from en echo denos. It's some kind of idiom here, probably fiercely opposed, but you'll need to look at the commentaries here. Kai apostomatisdo, this again is a funny verb, and again the meaning is not quite clear here. The original meaning of this, it's literally from the mouth. The original meaning was to recite something that you had learned off by heart. Of course, in the schools in those days, the children had to learn off by heart whole passages, and that was the original meaning, but here it seems to be something a bit different. It seems here to mean to provoke to answer. So to make him to speak. So they began to perhaps fiercely oppose him, and to make him to speak from his own mouth, the idea is, peripleonon, regarding more things, regarding very many things. They often use the comparative in this way, regarding very many things. En edruontes, setting a snare for him, setting a snare, therusai, to hunt him down, or to hunt, setting a snare for him, sorry, to hunt him down, i.e. to catch him out, might be the better way of translating it, to catch out something from his own mouth. So they're egging him on to say something that they can then use against him, is the sense of this fairly complicated last verse here. So just to go through that quickly, so the scribes and the Pharisees began to fiercely oppose him and to force him to say from his own mouth, or to say something regarding many things, setting a snare for him to catch him, or to catch something from his own mouth, to catch him saying something that is they can use against him, is the sense of it. So that's the end of chapter 11.